So the 5 periods, the first period is a pre-worldly period. And the phenomenal existence and noumenal existence in Islam are, there's a dyad here called mulk and malakut. The mulk is what we can see. Anything that you can see, feel, touch, the sensory world. And most of our scholars would include in this what we now know of the unseen phenomenal world, which would be the world of X-rays, light waves, sound waves, gamma rays. This world that we can't see, but it's palpable. We can measure it. We have access to it. The malakut is a realm that we cannot see. We do not have access to it. There's some interpenetration because the angelic world can move into. The angelic world is in the malakut, and yet they can move into the mulk. So the mulk is impacting, the malakut is impacting the mulk. And the mulk impacts the malakut in that things that are done in the mulk are either pleasing or disturbing to the malakut. And that has to do with things that are done with the moral component. So when people are doing righteous things, the malakut actually is happy and rejoices about it. When they do foul things, then the opposite occurs. And I'm going to go into that. Now, the importance of knowing about these, according to the Islamic tradition, is that unlike 20th century man, who in a lot of ways has removed him or herself completely from the unseen experience. If you go into traditional cultures, Weber would call this the magical realm, the realm of enchantment, the pre-industrial realm, that people existed with a sense of magic. And they looked at the world, because it was not understood, they looked at it in a way that caused them to experience an unseen explanation for so much of what was happening around them. So weather, illness, all of these things that happened, right? Now, if you look, just to take for the example of illness, in most cultures, illness was often attributed to evil spirits, attributed to the evil eye. Obviously, as medicine became more advanced, and you can see the Greek attack on this centuries ago. I mean, the Greeks moved into a rationalist mode, and many of the Greek philosophers did not like those explanations, and they're conspicuously absent from a lot of their text, which is interesting given that that was a popular belief in their culture. But if you look at modern man, we have unseen explanations, but they're no longer magical. So bacteria is not something that we see. It's an unseen realm. I mean, you can see it on the microscope, but most people, the doctor says you've got a virus. It's not something you saw. Right? He doesn't bring out a slide and show you a microscope and there it is. But it is something we understand, and people have had biology classes, so they do have an idea. So we have identified many of the things that are impacting our world and given them material explanations. And those material explanations caused a disenchantment with the world. So we no longer are enchanted by what is around us. When we look at natural phenomena, many of us have some basic explanations for it. So when weather strikes us, we have scientists that tell us this is El Nino phenomenon. And when drought comes, they explain the reasons for that. And yet in the ancient world, and still in a lot of places on the earth, these things are seen as coming from the unseen world. In other words, drought is still understood in most parts of the world to be from displeasure. So for instance, the Muslims still believe that drought is a sign that blessings have been removed, and it's seen as a reminder. And that's why the Muslims will go out and do a rain prayer. And they bring their animals out, they bring their children out. And the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ said that if a people begin to cheat in their buying and selling and have unjust weights and balances, the rain is withheld from them. And then he said, had it not been for dumb animals, they would have gotten no rain at all. In other words, it's not the humans that are worthy of the rain, but it's the animals that aren't doing anything wrong. So this is still part of the Muslim world, and you will find this also within the Indic culture, within the scenic culture. You're going to find this in many, many cultures, and certainly amongst traditional Christians in American culture. You will still find that many of them, when they read the newspaper, you know, they will see these as signs, right? What's happened, these are signs from God.